Hello and good evening or good morning, wherever you are in the world, and thank you for joining me. My name is Sheila Balgobin. I'm known as the Dream Decipherer, and I'm going to share with you why I believe dreams are important for our wealth and well being. But I'm going to start my talk with asking you a question. Has a dream ever saved your life? Well, I can honestly say that a series of dreams actually literally did just that and saved my life. And I'm going to talk about that experience as well as other experiences that indicate that dreams have an importance for our lives and even for our businesses. For example, did you know that there were several things that we use today that were invented because of dreams? The first being Google. Yes, Google was developed as the result of a dream. The double helix of DNA, Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, irons and other things, and novels, hit songs, and other things have been invented because of dreams. So, what are you missing out by not listening to your dreams? But to get back to my story, I am from a family of what I call dreamers, women who are gifted with the ability to use dreams in some way to help other people. My particular gift on that, or my particular take on that gift, is to be able to understand the meaning of dreams. Now, this is something that I ran away from for many years because I didn't want to be thought weird or crazy or tell people things that they didn't want to hear. So it's a gift that I hid for a long time until a dream saved my life. And I'm going to share that story with you. What the dream saved me from, or the nightmares actually, was 9/11. And to set the scene for you, I had gotten married. I was living in London. I had gotten married and returned to New York, where I'm from, to be able to have my husband join me there. Now, during this time that I was trying to get his paperwork set up, I've started having these dreams all of a sudden. And I was dreaming of ships going down at sea, dark, stormy seas, shipwrecks, all kinds of awful things. And I wake up literally shaking in a cold sweat and shaking and didn't know what it meant. I wasn't going on a trip anywhere. I wasn't going on a cruise. I didn't know anybody going on a cruise. And it just frightened the life out of me. And what frightened me even more, I couldn't understand what the dream was saying, which scared me half to death, quite frankly. But and during this time, I'm trying to work on my husband's paperwork, and every time I'd inch open the door, it would slam shut again. And so I finally resolved to not to make that move or try to get my husband to join me in New York, but to return to London and settle there instead. And after having made that decision, the dream stopped. No more nightmares, no more waking up night after night after night after night, shaking in fear. They just left me. I noted the dreams down in any case, as I have done for many years. I've noted my dreams. And in all the time that I was struggling to get my husband's a visa and didn't work, I got my visa to return to the UK in 3 days. And so I made my preparations to return to London. This was in 2000, around August, September of 2000. I arrived back in the UK and had settled in, and I was actually working for a doctor's office at the time near my home. I was coming back from lunch one day, a year later, and I get to the doctor's office, and people are screaming, crying, running around, and I'm like, what on earth has happened? And all I could get out of people was towers, plane, hit, and my mind went blank, completely blank. It's like I couldn't understand what anybody was saying. It was like I had gone deaf. But I knew at that moment what the dream was telling me. And dreams have their own logic. and their own way of presenting information, which doesn't necessarily tally with our everyday reality, our waking hours, but very logical in their presentation. And it dawned on me that the dream was telling me exactly what was happening or going to happen a year later. The air shipwrecks that I had seen in my dreams or nightmares was an indication of what was going to happen. In the early days of aviation, when we had those dirigibles or blimps like the Hindenburg flying, what were these vehicles called? They were called airships. Airships, shipwreck. So there was a quite distinct logic in what was being presented to me, but maybe presented in a way that wasn't immediately understandable by myself. But I knew that a year in advance, I had been given warning of a disaster to take place. Now, I have to add to this the context as to why this was significant for me. I was a stockbroker at the time. I was working in the Wall Street area, and I walked through the towers every single day, whether going to or from work or to in the execution of my duties as a stockbroker. I worked for Lehman Brothers at the time. So I could very well have been caught up in that madness that was 9/11. But dreams are always a call to action, whether it be to change our particular perspective of something or to take an actual decision. And my decision to return to the UK rather than stay in New York was the key that flipped the script for me. And that's why the dream stopped. I no longer needed to be warned about impending danger. But dreams aren't always about just warning you against terrible things that might happen. My dreams also brought back the very same husband that I went to join in London. We came together after many years apart because of a series of dreams that I had. So dreams can not only predict unpleasant things, but can predict things that are of a happier nature. But that's just one of the purposes of dreams. Dreams, as I say, a call to action to get us to look at something that is of importance to us. It's a little kite being floated up by our unconscious mind to say, hey, have a look at this. This is important. And that has been the case for clients of mine as well as for myself. One of the purposes of dreams is not only to prepare us for future events so that we can react in ways that are better, but can make better decisions about our lives in general. For example, I mentioned that there are many things that were created as the result of dreams. So if you're an entrepreneur, what business ideas, what next great idea are you sitting on because you've ignored your dreams? You think it's just a bunch of nonsense, that it's the result of cheap wine, late nights, eating cheese, whatever the case may be. Um, there's important information that is being presented to you if you know how to take advantage of it. Now, dreams, as I mentioned before, do have their own logic and their own way of presenting information, and you have to learn to crack the code, as I call it, so that you can find the gold in the gobbledygook of your dreams. So, if the best way to start to do that, and here's a tip for you, is to start recording your dreams. The the fact that you're recording your dreams does a couple of things. First, it helps you to identify patterns and motifs that become like a sort of shorthand for you when you're trying to understand what a dream is telling you. The other thing is that when you start to make the effort to remember your dreams, and I get this a lot from people, I don't remember my dreams or I don't dream, writing them down actually can help jog your memory so that you retain more of your dream. Now, statistically, we forget up to 90% of our dreams within the first 5 minutes of waking up. And that includes everybody, including me. But what happens is when you start to make the effort to record your dreams, your unconscious mind will actually prompt you and help you so that you can remember better. So that's one thing that you can do that to help you to dream, remember your dreams better. Now, people say, "I don't dream." Yes, we all dream. All mammals dream, from dolphins and rats. Even spiders apparently can dream. And there's been some interesting research coming out of the Amazon around that. But we all have the capacity to dream. We all dream, but certain things will interfere with that process, including medication, whether legal or illegal, alcohol, stress. There's any number of things. I mean, the dreams could actually be indicative of illness of various sorts. So there are various things that come into play when it comes to dreams that can affect your ability to dream and certainly to remember them. The other tip that might be useful is to have a glass of water about an hour before going to sleep. And the reason for that is energetically, our dreams, I mean, our emotions are likened to water. So having a glass of water energetically sets up a connection between our dream state and our sleep. So those are just a couple of things that you can try, simple things that can help enhance your dream life. Now, dreams have served various purposes. Some just like a smokestack, just to be able to burn off. There's daily stresses, the minor stresses of the day, like somebody cuts you off on the way to when you're driving to work. Your teenagers are driving you crazy. You've had a fight with your spouse. Your boss is getting on your nerves. Whatever the case may be, and you're not able to express those irritations during the day, they burn off like a smokestack at night in your dreams. The most important things that dreams do, besides preparing us for future events like escaping 9/11 or getting married again, is to um, be our inner guru, our inner therapist, if you will, to help us to see things from the bigger picture and be able to affect a change. Now, there was, interestingly enough, there was a sleep study that was done at the University of Chicago, where who went through bad divorces were looked at during this study. There was a control group of women who were happily married and weren't thinking of divorcing, and the other two groups were women who dreamed and women who did not. But groups had gone through a bad divorce. And during the sleep study, when they would wake up the women who said they were dreamed, they found out that they were dreaming about their ex or dreaming about some aspect of their relationship. And they recovered more quickly and more completely than the women who couldn't remember their dreams or stated they did not dream. So, as you can see, dreams have the ability to help us to work through difficult emotions and to dissipate the impact. I mean, for people who are suffering from post traumatic stress disorder, like soldiers returning from war or in civilians caught up in war, the dreams or nightmares are trying to help them to process those difficult emotions. And our dreams are about our emotions, whether we are aware of them or not. So I ask you the question again: what are you missing out on by not listening to your dreams? Are you missing out on some great business idea? Are you missing out on how to improve your relationships with others or even with yourself? The question needs to be asked, and I leave that with you as to whether you need to pay more attention to your dreams and find out what you're missing out on and what decisions you could make that are better, best, and most beneficial for you when you listen to your dreams. And I hope this will stimulate some thought about your dreams and get you to writing them down so that you can see the progression and change in your life as you make decisions based on the deepest and wisest part of yourself that knows all about you and what you need to thrive. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you've enjoyed this talk, and I thank GST Live for allowing me to share my story with you. Take care, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye.